What's up, Matt?
What's up, boys?
I'm going to see. You can hear me, but it's not going through my headset, so I want it to go through my headset. Hold on a second.
You sound perfect. It sounds like you're talking through your headset.
I can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
What flag you flying out?
Yeah, now it's going through my headset, so you can hear me.
What flag you flying out there, Beamer? Over your shoulder.
That's the state of Oregon right there.
Nice.
And then
Don't tread on me.
If you look, hold on. There's the U.S. flag there. Righto.
I like it. Looks great,
America.
man. America.
So you guys can hear me and I can hear you. Good. Let's go.
We're just waiting for a couple other people to sign in. Greg, I mean, this is a great deal. That wasn't a good deal. Sorry. Studio problem. Let me get my studio on here.
Are you back in Chicago yet, Greg?
Next week.
Nice.
There you go. Let's see if we can get her tuned in now.
I got my camera settings on high definition. I'm gonna have to go back to low definition. This is frightening. You
look good, man. You look
old and gray.
No, man, you got your Sprocket outfit on.
Sprockets? Are you like Dana Carvey being the mediator for Sprockets?
Matt, if you just held your iPhone up like this, we'd think and put some round glasses on, we'd think you're Steven Jobs.
Well, he had a little more money than I do.
After this market? Come on.
I got a long ways to go to catch up with those guys.
No doubt.
I was talking to a friend of mine that got invited to go down to Palm Springs and play golf. And guess who was in his foursome?
Guess who what?
I guess who ended up in his foursome down in Palm Springs by accident?
Who?
Aaron Rodgers.
Really?
Yeah, so he's out there playing golf with Aaron Rodgers last week, and they're talking about just flying private jets to go see Justin Bieber and stuff. They live in a different world than we live in, bud. They just kind of come and go as they please. They're worth so much money.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, let's kick it up. Welcome to This Week in Lumber with Matt Beamer from Hampton Lumber Sales and Greg Riley from Sitka USA. Where we summarize kind of what we saw the past week, what we see this week in lumber building products in general. We're from Materials Exchange, mxlumber.com. If you want some more transparency in the market to buy and sell lumber on, it's free to sign up. Come to mxlumber.com and register, and we'll get you buying and selling lumber today. So, Matt, Greg, and I were talking a little bit before, and I think one interesting thing, March futures and cash are about as wide as they've gotten. Maybe you made the comment, Matt, since last February. Maybe they've been wider. You guys are a little bit better on this. What's
the beginning of February? I sent an email out to anyone that does business with me that you could buy the March contract at $934 at that time, and cash was $1,200. So there was a $260 discount, and I was recommending that people buy that, take delivery on it, and we would forward sell it to them and just handle all the paperwork and make a 4% margin on it. I just sent that email out again here about 20 minutes ago, and I sent it out yesterday, and I sent it out the day before. So the big red sign flashing, hey, buy me. If you don't want to pay $1,500 Chicago for some lumber, you can pay $1,250 Chicago for some lumber. You just got to wait until May. And that's where we are right now.
Well, or June, I mean, May futures is for June delivery, right?
Got it. But you can understand. Really? Okay. So you're going to buy a certain amount of lumber that time frame anyhow. Do you want to pay full retail for it, or do you want to pay, minus $250 per thousand, which is almost $30,000 per choo-choo train? That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah. The last time the spread was this wide was actually back in August. And at that time, futures was a $250 premium to the cash market, August and September. And, so it's going to be, it's interesting because lumber's still tight for the next, I mean, I still have people, I need this quick, I need that quick. And I mean, unfortunately, Matt, there's very little that I can deliver, quicker than, let's just say 3 weeks.
But
Very
that's a great point. So a user on the platform said, do you have some OSB for sale? I'm like, yeah, I've got 4 trucks of prompt. He goes, do you have prompt 23, 30 seconds OSB? I'm like, yeah, I've got 4 trucks by you. I go, but what does prompt mean to you? And he's like, it just means that it's actually dry and not warm anymore. So basically, I'm like, yeah, I've got them prompt, but I don't know when a truck is actually going to get in there and get them, right? And I'm not going to overcommit on it. It's like, Greg, you and I have talked, Matt. My first part of the morning generally is, Nick is busting his ass booking stuff. It's a challenge, right? For a couple reasons.
Matt, how are you doing? How do you feel about like shipping? Are you seeing any signs of, trucks loosening up, carload availability changing?
I think it's loosening a little bit. I mean, the Western BC and Alberta car supplies is improved here in the last week or two. It's still not, it's not flowing like it should. But, I think the mills have slowed down their sales a little bit also. Some mills have done it intentionally and some mills have just done it because they had long order files and they didn't need any more orders because they can't ship the lumber they've already sold. But I would say that the logistics of rail cars and where they are in this continent, they've gone down to Texas and Arizona and Colorado and Mississippi and Louisiana. Now they're on their way back. And so we're starting to see more rail cars arriving at our sawmill in British Columbia. And I think Fraser and Canfor and Toco and the other Western, BC and Alberta mills are probably seeing a little bit more cars also.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it hasn't solved our problems yet, though. And then the trucking is just trucking. You still get truckers that may or may not show up, even if you book an appointment with them. And I'm rebooking trucks 2 or 3 times, it seems like, on a regular basis. So that I wouldn't say trucking's any better or worse. It just is what it is, and we have to deal with it.
Yeah, we hear a lot of things like, yeah, we told you we could do that for $650, but we can't anymore. We can do it for $950. Like, I now, Greg, I now know the definition of a free option in this world. Have a trucking company, and you get what's called a free option.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's, those brokers get dropped immediately from the
no doubt
from the list.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But yeah, no, I was just saying we've seen the same thing in the East. Is that couple, our mill and we had a couple mills yesterday come to us with a lot more availability of cars, lumber available for a couple of weeks shipment. We saw it trade at some pretty good discount to the print market, and but the wood did get cleaned up. I mean, it sold. So it'll be interesting to see if that continues over the next week or so. Is there more wood available? Wanted to talk real quick about the stat that came out today.
Housing or the construction, right?
Builder expectations. Big drop in their sales expectation for the next 6 months, driven by higher mortgage rates and concerns about affordability. So that's something that we want to keep an eye on, because the one thing that's been constant in the market is demand has been great. And tomorrow we have housing starts. I mean, starts are forecast to be like high 1,600,000. Maybe 1,700,000, which would be a big number for February. I'm saying it's going to be a surprise, maybe lower, because of weather impacted more markets in February. But the real number to watch tomorrow, guys, is completions. If you see a big uptick in completions, then that's gonna signal a change in what's happening. If we see completion staying at the 1,250,000 number, and the number under construction continuing to grow, that's just an extension of the trend that we have.
That's a great thought, Greg. We've been following those completions, and they've been kind of leaving it, kind of telling the story here. Just real quick, you kind of talked about Eastern market, Matt. What are you seeing on the Western BC side and Northwestern US as far as what's going on? I
think we're doing a good job here at Hampton of just managing our order files and keeping the wood sold. I think there is a little bit of softness in the air. When you tool around and start talking to other sawmills, some mills are being pretty aggressive. Honestly, there's a couple of mills out west that have really, I haven't seen emails from them for a long time, and all of a sudden they're sending emails. Hey, we want to sell this. Hey, we want to sell that. But it's just a handful of mills. Most of the mills still have pretty good order files and are just doing what we've been doing, and recognizing that this too, even if we had to come off $100 or $200 or $300, $1,000 over the next 3 weeks, let's say, it's still pretty good.
Still
numbers.
A 4-digit number, right?
Yeah, still pretty good numbers. And I think most of the mills in Western US and Canada are content with just riding whatever wave and whatever direction we end up going. I'm not really willing to bet against this market yet. And the problem that I see is I can't keep up with demand for lumber at my desk. I literally can't buy enough lumber to solve everybody's problems for them right now. And I've been trying to for the last 90 days. I've done a pretty good job of staying with my customers, but at the same time, it seems like my customers' needs are increasing. And my desire to buy $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 lumber is decreasing at the same time. So I don't really want to stay with them, and take all this risk.
The disconnect that I have, Matt, with that is, so what the markets had to do over the last, let's say, 30 to 45 days is double, triple, quadruple buy. I mean, every day the prompt business that's coming into my desk is all people that have cars that are late, cars that are delayed, trucks that are late, trucks that are delayed, right? They have plenty of lumber on order, but it's not where it needs to be. So they have to keep backfilling. And, I don't
know what to do, to tell you the truth. I'm kind of torn here. I like, if the mills want to come at me and give me $200 head start off of what the most recent price was for mostly 2x4, because 2x4 has been the most liquid thing in the whole world for the last year. I'm going to pay attention, right? It's similar to what I was doing in January and early February when we had a big disconnect in the futures and cash prices. I was off the screen here. I was buying some lumber discounted and willing to take it to my inventory. Well, my inventory is zero, right? I literally have no inventory for sale right now. It's going to be a month before I have any inventory that even arrives down there where I can sell extra trucks. I've been selling my inventory all along. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
So Matt, I was talking.
Yeah, and Matt, to that point, sorry, Ash.
No, I was just talking. You actually brought this up, Greg. You said you were talking to a few people that, the exception that there was quite a bit of wood that some distributors had at reloads that these people were living off of that were normal carload buyers. Was that correct, Greg? Or
yeah, no. I mean, carload buyers are buying trucks every day because their cars aren't there. But right. So I guess I was going to get to, I was thinking about this today, and with Western Print being unchanged at 1,400, a year ago, the market ran up, and the market was flat for 5 weeks in the month of March, and then then with the print was $1,000. Okay, and then the market ran up in the from the first week in April till the mid-May 70%. And that was, kind of that was the final blow off. And I'm building the case that, if we stay flat for another, 2-3 weeks here, that we could see another repeat of that. I can also build the case that this year is different from last year in that home center business is going to continue to fall short, which the reports from all the field are that is already the case. And I'm waiting to see mills have VMI wood come back to them. That'll be a sign. If I look at the technical and the futures, the market's rallied up and not made a new high yet. And if it sells off, then that's the definition of the beginning of a bear market. So I can build a case that we're going to run to new highs in the next 60 days. I could also build the case that we'll be under $1,000 by mid-late May.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would just say that people have learned their lesson from last year. If you owned a bunch of $1,500 lumber in June of 2021, you probably got shellacked, right? I mean, it dropped so fast that it was hard to catch that falling knife in July and August. and I don't think anyone has a lot of unsold high-priced inventory right now, to tell you the truth.
In distribution?
Yeah, wholesalers or distributors. I don't think the mills have a bunch of lumber just laying around ready to load. I mean, it's going to be like the mills would have to stop selling lumber for like 2 weeks solid and get 0 orders for 2 weeks to where they would have prompt shipping wood, right?
Well, I mean, mills have lots of lumber addressed inventory. It's just a function of how many cars they're getting as to what they have available. Right?
Well, and they also have order files that they need to ship still, right? So even if they had extra lumber laying around, they're going to apply it to existing orders they have in their order file before they take on new orders. And so, I mean, right now we have a high price cost of replacement. We have still long lead times. I mean, transportation isn't faster. It's generally slower. Whether you truck it or rail it just takes longer for things to move around this country. And I don't think there's a lot of unsold extra inventory laying around anywhere. I just don't think distributors have it. I don't think wholesalers have it. I don't think the ports are loaded with unsold wood. I mean, maybe I'm missing something here, but I'm not seeing a lot of euro being offered to me right now.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, Matt, because I mean, we kind of had with the futures dropping there, late last week, early this week. There was a little bit of a secondary price correction where guys were, pulling this out and that out and saying, hey, I do have this, I do have that. But again, that all cleaned up. I mean, I can, I tell you, I looked at my inventory. I had some, odds and ends, and I went, oh, geez, this stuff, I just, put it out there, boom, gone. Right.
And customers are willing to buy it. If you're nervous and you want to dump your prices $200, they'll take it. And then the very next day, if the same thing comes across their desk and they need it bad enough, they'll pay the extra $200 to get it. I mean, I was talking to a guy that bought a whole bunch of cars from a secondary Monday at -300 because the guy was nervous and just wanted to get out. And then the very next day, turned around and paid $300 more for the same stuff to another company. So
that's not a good recipe for
what does that
success.
mean? It just tells you that there's a lot of liquidity out there and
right.
And
Matt,
not a lot of product.
Interesting that you said that. In talking to a bunch of people and seeing it, some stuff is getting double, triple, quadruple wholesale in this market. I mean, it's crazy, and that happens when that happens when you're in a market like this, where if you got an item that's got value on it, it bounces around. But
yeah. I had one of my customers call today, Ash, and he's like, hey, I got 2 trucks in here from you today. And, one of them was from me and another one was from like somebody else that sold it to somebody else.
Yeah. Or a customer will call and say, hey, we just got a truck in that has 7 bills of lading on it.
There's a question on the chat side here that says, what are we hearing about the CP strike? You guys want to talk about that?
Yeah. Who cares? That's my comment. Absolutely meaningless. It's noise. It just completely ignore it.
Yeah, it's
best
funny
advice
how
I can give anybody. CP
we
strike.
talk about.
Who cares?
I can tell you this: I bought a bunch of material from a Canadian mill that ships both CN and CP last week, And when I gave them the routings, some of the routings I chose were to go CP, and they advised me not to do that. So I paid a little bit more to go CN. You know, it cost me an extra $5 a thousand, but I'd rather have the wood moved rather than get caught in a labor strike, right? We're
I
having
mean, the
labor
history of
issues
every
with BN
rail
already.
strike in Canada is a non-event. So I mean,
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
winter's a bigger problem. Winter's a bigger problem than a strike.
Well, I mean, and
They
this
can't
is
handle
just-
winter. They can handle a strike.
This is just what I heard. I heard like the BN is still working without a contract. The port workers are still working without a contract, but they're still loading stuff and moving it around, right?
I
Would you
mean,
call
you're not
that
gonna,
working?
you know, are you gonna? Warren Buffett's not gonna stop the train. Come on.
Right. I mean, we're all three of us are working without a contract. You know,
What? I thought you just signed a multi-year deal. Are you kidding me?
don't
You'll
tell
have to
anybody.
talk to my agent about
Whoa,
that.
whoa! Time out.
Well, I was thinking about going back into the NFL after what I've seen some of these quarterbacks making now.
Yeah, really.
Uh,
You could just
yeah.
hold a clipboard on the sideline for $10 million.
So, you know, the
Yeah.
quarterback that throws like a girl.
I thought you were like a free safety or something. What, you have no throwing skills. What are you talking about?
I have no skills.
Well, how pumped up are you for NCAA tournament here? Who do you like, Matt? Who do you like?
I don't even pay any attention to college
come
basketball
on.
anymore.
Greatest
I'm old,
sports
man.
event of the year. Well, top 5 anyhow.
So who's the big Indiana? They're
No. Well, I mean,
Purdue is pretty good, right?
Duke.
I'm going Rock Chalk.
I'm going with Slippery Rock if they're in it.
Yeah, no, I'm going KU all the way this year.
Right on. Well, look at Greg. I know you've got.
I got to run. Yeah.
You got to run, but I appreciate you getting on, Matt. You getting on. I know we're all. So if you like listening to our program, you can get the link anytime. But please support Matt, Greg, and I. Matt's at Hampton Lumber Sales. Greg's at Sitka USA, and I'm at mxlumber.com. If you like listening to us use a platform, sign up, and you won't be disappointed.
I'll see if I can get Westbury next week so we can do housing starts, interest rates, kind of get his forecast for the second half of the year, Ash.
That'd be great. I'd love that.
Awesome. Hey,
Sounds
have a
good,
great
guys.
day, guys. See ya.
All right.
Take care. Thank you.